'Cause you won't look after my wounds. I suppose you will never regret it. I should throw myself out from the roof. 'Cause you fucking love it when I feel it. 'Cause you won't look after my wounds. I suppose you will never regret it. I should throw myself out from the roof. 'Cause you fucking love it when I feel it. Cause you won't look after my wounds. I suppose you will never regret it. I should throw myself out from the roof.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the QSL Season 4. I know it says Season 3 up there. We're figuring out how to fix that right now. But welcome to Season 4. My name is Raptor. Joining me is High Altitude, and on camera, as always, is the beautiful Red Sniper. And we have a game for you today. The Apes versus the King's Court Dukes. Both of them this is a season opener for them. This is week one. We don't know much to expect from these teams, but there are some very, very familiar faces here. First off, high altitude. How you doing today, man?
Doing good. First game casted. Haven't even played a first set yet of QSL, but you know what? It's all good. Just glad to be here. Glad to be talking, I guess. I don't really know what this picture is, but I'll say it's a pretty close representation of me.
Well, it's the best we could find. But yes, you will get your time soon enough. I believe you play on Sunday, but we are not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about the A's versus the Kings Court Dukes, and we are already getting into picks and bans, and we are seeing some standard bans, but also some very interesting bans. We see the Odin, Ardio, and Soul on the side of the Apes, and the Geb, Tiamat,
The
and
light is
Tsukiyomi on the
all
side
around you.
of the Dukes, and that is an immediate Oleron pickup.
Yeah, usually right now, just mage. Could be a mid, could be an ADC. We'll see here. Looks like yeah, but that's just gonna be a okay. We're changing it up
Oh,
a little bit.
okay, teams were mixed up. Teams were mixed up a bit. Do not worry, we do have it figured out. Red, as always, coming in clutch and noticing the mistakes. We do try and be as professional and accurate as possible, but sometimes mistakes like these make it through. But going back to this Oleron pickup, Oleron has been seeing a lot of play lately, and it's mostly just because of these minor. Well, I say minor, but clearly they're more
Feel my
major than that
blessing.
because Oleron went from never
Evil
being
doesn't
seen
stand a
to being
chance.
seen instantly. And as I'm about to ask you why we see Oleron all the time, an E-set's picked up.
Yeah, I'm
Why?
not really sure about this ESET. ESET's a pretty safe pick, I would say, for a lot of teams, especially, you know, pivoting around the ult, pivoting around, your huge range of CC, while still doing a ton of damage. It could be a mid to mid. It's entirely possible, but as far as, the actual, reasoning behind it, we'll see here if Dukes actually pick up an actual mid or if that's a mage ADC.
We have seen a lot of ESET support lately as well, and Sino, of course, taking up ESET jungle, but I doubt we see
Yes, yes,
Omar
that
take
would be
that.
me.
I wouldn't put it past him though. This the most I can think of is that this is a comfort pick for either Dragon or Wolfman Sam. Um
Yeah, this seems like a
and
mid comfort pick here. There's not
yeah.
too much to say about it, but still it's pretty standard. Even though it's probably not ESET support with the Terra coming out.
That is true, and with that Wukong lock-in, you are probably right. That is probably going to be a Wukong solo terrorist support. So that will be an E-set mid. And meanwhile, on the Dukes, we see the classic Sylvanas and Cthulhu. We saw that run to perfection today in the Titans, and who'd they face? Titans and Warriors. I'm sorry, I blinked for a
Yeah.
second. But Titans and Warriors, that was shown to perfection today. It was practically a clinic, and we are going to see it come out today again with the Dukes, with both Bugie Dude and Vakis, who is actually a returning champion from last season. Um, he'll be piloting that Sylvanas.
Yeah, the only thing I'm really wondering here is if this is a, Sylvana solo, Cthulhu support. It could always just be the other way around, but it's kind of fun to see, people trying out the Sylvana solo right now. There's a lot of interesting bands here. I don't know about a Daji and a Morgan band. Kind of an interesting one. You still have, an interesting amount of CC and ults. So thinking like, hey, we got to get rid of Adachi is a little bit weird, but you know, uh, not a huge issue.
I think it is mostly because Adaji can easily get on top of an Ola run. And with the Powwow, she can basically just ignore the Ola run's ult.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
it doesn't really affect the Sylvanas and Cthulhu, but I think that or actually the Apes were the ones that banned the Dashi. That
yeah,
is,
yeah. That's a ban out of
yeah.
them. I mean, Wukong, Rama, their CC immune ults doesn't really matter to them. I guess Iset keeping her alive. It's a little bit of a weird. It's probably a I don't like playing against this character. Let's ban it. So you know, okay.
Okay, we
Yeah, just as a
so
heads up, we actually have a Charybdis coming out of the Duke side. We don't quite have the banner ready for that, so
Listen to
hopefully we'll
my
have that soon.
words.
But just know that the looks like the ADC locked in for a Charybdis instead.
Yes, it seems that we are working with a bit outdated of software. We will get that fixed up as soon as we can. We promise. But for now, the Charybdis is locked in on the side of the Dukes alongside a Hoon Bats. And Hoon Bats is kind of what we were saying Adaji can do, except instead of an Ola run in my situation, it's the E sets. But the Hoon Bats, it just also brings this team fight control with that ultimate, and in my opinion, honestly does what Daji wants to do a little bit better, minus just the burst potential.
Well, yeah, you're
Yeah,
you're missing out a little bit of the burst, the chase out of Dodgy, but you still get a lot of that, CC, which is a lot harder. You can't really ROM ult out of a Hun Bats ult, without really expecting it.
yeah.
Even still with a Charybdis 3, doing that, it's totally fine. But there's still, not too much here for them to worry about, I think, with the Hun Bats. I've really seen a lot of that play lately, but, maybe with the Mace changes, it'll be good.
Absolutely. And speaking of mace changes, we see a Pele coming through. Pele, another god that uses maces very, very well. But I don't recall seeing a whole lot of Pele lately since the maces got buffed. It's been mostly the Hoon Bass, the Tsukiyomi, um, the I'm blanking on what the other jungler.
Yeah,
Yeah, the common ability based junglers that we often see associated with this mace tree, but Pele has been kind of silent compared to those others. Do you know why that is?
it's really just the items favoring ability based hunters, and she's in a weird spot, especially after the season 8 changes to healing out of combat. You really can't do much about her passive doesn't do as much. Her if she goes into a soul eater, which is a not a great pickup in the jungle, doesn't do quite as much as it should, but it's not bad thing. She's just not quite favored, especially compared to like the new junglers, Cleo, and a couple other ones. They're all kind of outshining her at the moment. Maybe some changes, hopefully here, will kind of bring her up, but she's in just like a moderate spot, not a great spot.
Very true. And speaking of in a moderate spot, this ROM, we haven't seen a whole lot of ROM since the bow changes, or I should say the mace changes as well. Since maces have kind of made their way into the hunter role, the bow build, while still pretty viable, it didn't take that many hits. It has kind of fallen out of favor in favor of these Izanamis, these Uls, these people that use the maces and that sort of hybrid attack speed, hybrid ability based builds extremely well. But we are seeing the ROM come out of here again, and I have seen a lot of ROMs go this sort of ability base because their alt scales so well. Do you think that we'll be seeing this today, or will we be seeing a resurgence of the bow build?
No, I wouldn't be surprised if if they go into in just the standard, you know, Crusher or Aussie Wind Demon build here. That's just standard for pretty much every hunter at this point. You could even build it on Uller if you really cared. Um, he we're probably looking at a Rama here just because, if you're looking at the you know, blue team here, there's just no objectives to secure. They don't really have anything to lock down. A Gold Fury, a Fire Giant, if you go a little bit of, even if you went into a Crusher, you went into a Dominance, maybe even a Heartseeker last item if you really cared, you can two-shot a Fire Giant, secure that and then, you know, get out safely. So that's probably the thought process here.
Yeah, and a ROM paired with a Terra, that's going to be a very oppressive duo lane, even though they will be facing an Olorun Sylvanas. Sylvanas known for getting that early duo lane pressure thanks to his AoE basics. The Olorun is kind of in a weird spot where he he's been performing in the early game. Well, compared to how he should be, he's been performing. As a magical ADC. He does kind of need a few items to get online. Um, and so this. Oh, never mind. That's an Olorun mid. That
Yeah,
is
we got a mid
completely my bad.
here.
That is
Yeah,
an
we got a
Olorun mid.
Charybdis.
So
Yeah.
take away everything I just said. This is going to be a very high pressure duo lane. Yep, on both sides. The Charybdis, though she does kind of fall in the same tree where she needs a few items to truly get online. This 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 enhanced auto attack from her one as well as the triple shot just makes her wave clear extremely good in the early game.
Yeah, and we're kind of seeing here this, double, triple life steals that I've been seeing a little bit out of hunters lately. Everybody's trying it with the death toll buff, and especially with that next one coming in the next patch. They're trying to see, hey, can we make this death toll work? And we're actually seeing a little bit more of the Devosh being picked up, which is kind of a good thing. I kind of miss the Devosh tree, but it's okay. Rom actually seems like he is going into maybe a bow build. It's possible. Maybe Irish Panda is just kind of stuck in the past here. Let's see about that. Let's see,
It is
standard
kind.
stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, standard stuff coming out of the jungle looks pretty okay. Mid, a little bit weird. I don't love Conduit Gem. I don't love Mannequin Mace or Mannequin Staff here, just because Mannequin Scepter, while it's a fairly okay item, really scales better against physical attackers and just better in the jungle than compared to him. He might be rotating a bunch and he might be getting some camps, so that's always a positive. Yeah, definitely an interesting pickup in the supports here. Both opting to start a Lotus Crown and, Sylvanas actually going to a War Flag. Hopefully that's kind of to meet the pressure of this Terrorama, but could be a cool pickup. We'll see.
Yeah, when you see a Sylvanas get a war flag, the only thing that screams um, more so that Sylvanas wants pressure than war flag is when he gets mannequins, and I would not recommend any Sylvanas getting mannequins if you have any sort of dignity. But we do see a little bit of pressure as although Clay City is going for this harpy, Sylvanas, the Vacus over here is just solo going in, and he's about to get first blooded, and he will fall for first blood or not. Oh, the blink away
Ah, jeez.
safety for Vacus, but he has very low health. He does have to be careful here. I do believe he did level a Wisp, so he should get that healing very soon. Meanwhile, here in mid, the Mannequin Scepter ticks doing work here on Dragon, but Sandman Sam is not able to clean up any kill. But speaking of cleaning up kills, Wolfman Sam picks up first blood on Vacus. Vac is just a little too low there on the Sylvanas and not able to heal up enough from the Wisps. If he even has that leveled, or no, he does not. I remember seeing the poll. He does not have the Wisp, so he'll be getting that level 3. So he had only pots to rely on healing over there, and he does end up falling for first blood. Meanwhile, here in the mid lane, Blizzkov getting a little spicy, going in between the tier 1 and tier 2 tower, and Sandman Sam just getting a little bit more poke here onto Dragon. The E-set forced under tower and actually forced into an early recall, though he does end up canceling it. And we do go back to just farming. But speaking of farming, oh, Blizzkov over there is stealing the back camps and meets Omar in the mid lane. Omar in the fire pit, I'm sorry. Omar level 3 has more buttons. A blink from Margiela to try and enter that fight, but Blizzkov is already out, successfully invading the back harpies. Did not get the smaller harpies though, but in return, Margiela and Omar are there looking for the blue buff invade. It's spawning right now, but at the same time, Rylan and Blizzkov are here looking to steal it back. And Rylan does steal back his blue buff, but Blizzkov does fall, and Rylan falling very low as well, but he is able to get out and recall.
Yeah, that's a bit of a tough one there. Definitely the reasoning behind people say, hey, you don't have to invade on level 2. It's not exactly worth it. You know, you got poked out too much. You just ended up getting poked out and then just dying on the blue buff for no reason. Honestly, should have just done the monkey, should have left. You know, maybe it was just a bit of an overcommitment, but, you know, Wukong level 3, definitely a tough, definitely a very strong level 3 out of this whole mix.
Absolutely, and as well as the Pele level 3, but the ultimate from Sandman Sam, I do not believe it caught him, but it does not matter. Dragon will fall anyway to Blizzkov, and the monkey gets on the board for the King's Dukes. 2-1, 3 minutes 30 seconds in, and he will take that right side harpies as a prize. Meanwhile, over here in duo lane, a bit of poke coming out. This is kind of what we expected when we saw this duo lane. A lot of pressure on both sides, given Terra not the best level 1, level 2 laning phase. She does start to get a lot better once she hits that level 3, level 4, and she gets that third button. Her abilities just come together extremely well. Oh, but a nice pull there by Vakis in the left lane, and it does not look like it will come out to anything more, as a nice roll away from Amish Panda gets him out, but he's got to be careful. The ultimate from Clay City only hits Wolfman Sam. It will not do a whole lot of damage, but they are still worse for wear at about half health. But the Terra healing will heal them up. But speaking of worse for wear, Blizzkov able to jump over the wall after securing that red buff, and that will be the end of the engagement. He does have to be careful though. Omar does spot him out, but they do not catch him in time before he recalls. Instead, Omar has his eyes on Vakis, and he is chasing him hard, but it will not matter. Vakis will escape, and they will retreat back to their side. Nothing really coming of that other than some poke on Blizzkov, who I believe was backing anyway. So
yeah, he wanted to get out of
gained,
there.
nothing lost.
Yeah, he didn't really mind. It's a bit of a weird one. I definitely would have loved to see a little bit of my priority pick. Saying, hey, the solar run has no ult. We should probably go on him. He was leagues away from a tower. You definitely could have, Pele knocked up. You could have, ESET stunned. Probably picked up a kill, but just how it is. Getting flushed between Olarun, Sylvanas, on bats. It's one of those things.
Blitzkov did have his ult, but they knew Sandman Sam's ult was still down. It is up now, but I wonder if they were more scared of the Fear No Evil there than they were just an Olarun with no ult. So that could have been the reasoning for their target picking, but either way, neither team really comes out with a win. The King's Dukes were able to secure their red buff, and that's the end of the story, and we just go back to farming, but both of these teams are looking for fireworks early on in this game.
Yep. Yeah, not too much happening here. We're really not even getting a lot of poke. We're just wave clearing. We're just calling it good. Interesting pull coming out of there. Okay.
Yeah, you do have to be careful there as Sylvanas as you're pulling. You do get a bit more leeway in the early game, but the Fear No Evil. 3 ultimates coming out. Blitzkov picking up Wolfman Sam. Dragon falling to Sandman Sam. That is totally not going to get confusing with the 2 Sams, but does not. But either way, Omar is just here looking to try and do something, but Sandman Sam and Vakis both higher levels than this Pele. Ooh, and a try from Vacus for that pull, but Margiela has rotated over and is looking a blink in from Margiela onto this Sylvanas. A nice double root might just be enough to get him out of there, and it will be as Sam and Sam comes back into lane. It is a 3v2, a 2v2 now, as Margiela does rotate back over to his solo lane. He didn't really lose much, just a single wave, but over in solo lane that can be a massive difference as the arena game continues in mid. Just a little bit of poke coming out from both Sams, chasing out their opponent. Ooh! Margiela forced up into the cloud from Rai, and with this blue buff up, you know that Rylan is hungry for the steal, but right around the corner is Margiela. Meanwhile, in mid lane, Vacus falls to Dragon. It looks like Sam and Sam is next on their wish list for Christmas, but Christmas does not come early for them. Or it almost did. But Descent into Madness over here in solo will pick up Margiela. Rylan gained the solo kill. Margiela is sticking around just a little bit too long. And Fear No Evil solo down onto Dragon. And the ultimate from ESET will be enough to deter Blitzkov from going in any further, as well as backup from 4 members of the Apes. I mean, that's a free Fear No Evil. You get Sure Dragon is down to about half health, but he has Spear the Magus online. He has lifesteal. He can heal up off of this.
Yeah, a bit of an interesting build path so far on most of these guys. Rom looks like he's wanting to opt into maybe a Toxic Blade here. Seems like it's a interesting pickup for him. I probably would have liked to see some lifesteal out of that spot, but it's okay. Let's see what else we got here. The solo run pickup. This is what we're seeing out of Mage ADCs. Mage Hunters right now is, this weird mix of health, tanky, and working into a Stone of Foul. He'll probably go into a Bancroft. He'll probably go into a Telekind some point. But this is just running rampant. It's impossible to kill him. It's kind of a nuisance, but we'll see how that goes.
Why do we see the Pythags piece? Because Pythags piece, it gives lifesteal to your allies. Why not go for a Soul Gem? It has very similar stats plus cooldown.
Well, Pythags piece is a really tough pickup in some of the side lane roles. You play it in solo, you play it in ADC, and you just don't get any value out of it because you're not around your teammates. He probably knows that in mid, hey, I'm playing around my Sylvanas, I'm playing around, Hunbats, I'm playing around Cthulhu, he rotates. And with that in mind, you get a little more value out of it. I would like to see a Bancroft out of that spot, just a little bit more survivability. Or Soul Gem's a tough pickup at this position just because he's not casting abilities. He's not doing anything besides auto-aim. So you don't get a lot of those Soul Gem heals, and you just don't get a lot of value out of it.
Well, in the meantime, you only spent like 10 seconds on that, maybe 15, and already 3 people died on the King's Dukes.
Yeah,
and
no, that was
that
was a huge one right there. Just coming out of the coming out of the Cthulhu, coming out of our Ola run there. Definitely a lot of abilities. Kind of an interesting change there. Can we see the actual XP swing here? I can't imagine that was terribly worth it, but no, yeah, even still, still maintaining their lead, it seems to plateaued a bit, but it's okay.
Yeah, they put a lot into killing Dragon there. And Dragon, it looks like he's going into an E-Staff that most likely is going to be, which will help with that tankiness, as it does seem like he is the focus of attention, 2 levels down, and another 3-man gank onto him, and he's going to fall here in mid lane. Vacus will pick him up with the Wisps, and immediately they move over towards this Gold Fury as Clay City solos Amish, and it does not look like they're going for... Oh no, okay. Sylvanas and Oleron will be starting the Gold Fury, and a nice little invade there by Clay City and Blitzkov, just to remind the Apes who's boss, while the rest of the team is on this Gold Fury, and solo laners are starting to rotate over, so this very soon will be a 5-on-3, but the Oleron ult coming out, as well as the Fear No Evil, just to secure the Gold Fury, and now Wolfman Sam is caught out in between a Cthulhu and a hard place, and the Blitzkopf will pick it up, but now all the health bars on King's Dukes are very low, but it will not matter. They pick up Omar, but they gotta be careful as respawns have come through for the Apes. They are coming back into this fight. Vacus falls, but Rylan with the descent into Madness will pick up Margiela, and this fight continues on Dragon. Oh, a nice heal from the Circle of Protection will save him, but not for long. Dragon will fall to Rylan, and it's only Amish Panda alive. The Wolfman Sam has respawned. He's still in base, and he is being chased. And Amish Panda is being chased there by Rylan. They're going under tower to get this, but it does not look like they're going to get it. They're going to play it safe and instead take the wave. They could look for a tower dive here. Rylan is positioning for that, but Wolfman Sam is rotating over on his way. The solo laner playing like he's a support over here in dual lane and about to be met by the real support of the Apes, but a nice dash will avoid the root from the Terra, and that's going to be the end of it. I don't even know what the end stats were. I believe that was a 5-0 or 5-1. I'm sorry, because Vacus fell.
Yeah.
As well as a Gold Fury. That's highly in favor of the Dukes right there.
Yeah, huge play for the Dukes. A lot of stuff coming out. You know, they got a lot of ultimates out. They got a lot of pressure off that. And yeah, even just starting that fight, you see the Oleron ult into the Fear No Evil. You know, Terra not having a fun time. You know, trash she will. But yeah, huge swing in here for the Dukes. A lot of pressure. They're getting all the negative camps. You know, they're just getting all of this farm here. Even Vacus feeling like, oh yeah, whatever, I can push up onto the, you know, onto the Scorpion spot. So, you know, he is unconcerned.
Well, he is a higher level than Dragon on this E set. Well, they are the same level now as E set does tick
Yeah,
over
equal
to
to
level
mid.
11.
Yeah, equal to mid.
And,
Kinda
and you're saying Terra's not having fun. Imagine Dragon. Imagine Dragons. They just
I imagine Dragon's used to it by now. You know, you've seen him plenty of times just getting 3-man dove, 4-man dove. You know, at some point you understand as a mid laner, hey, you know, it's gonna suck. This is my thing. You know, but Terra, you know, you don't want to be knocked up. You know, you're playing that god because you just want that safety. But it doesn't even matter. You know, Lotus Crown unfortunately is just not a strong enough pickup for her at this point. You know, just since those heals are just so, you know, inconsequential at this point.
Yep. Well, we did see a solo kill over in the left lane for Clay City, while 3 people were over here trying to shut down this Cthulhu, who is 3-0 and has a 1 level lead, or 1.5 level lead, I'm sorry, over his opponent. And Wolfman Sam using both of his dashes here. He uses the ult, but it will not matter. He will fall here. Vacus picks up the kill. Another KS for the Sylvanas. We all hate to see it, but Vacus, Sandman Sam, and Blitzkopf had just been fitting on these immobile gods. Speaking of which, Blitzkopf just picks up Dragon in the jungle, 4 levels ahead of this E set. This Hoonbats is... if Dragon sees Hoonbats, he just gives up on life at this point.
Yeah, this is starting to get away from the Apes here. It's kind of becoming a snowball. You know, right now I would love to see the Dukes, you know, push for an objective. Fire Giant is up. They have a ton of pressure right now. You know, if they get some high awards, they get some pressure in, they could definitely go for that right now. You know, whether they do it or not, or whether they just sit around and farm and let them catch up to them. But that will be the smart thing is, you know, Primal's not really a core thing coming up right now. Fire will be your next big objective.
Ooh, Omar taking a massive amount of damage immediately from Sandman Sam, and Wolfman Sam will fall here as he gets caught in the Oleron ult. And Irish Panda getting chased down by Clay City. This could be a left tier 2 tower 16 minutes into the game. King's Dukes are just running away with this. This mid 3v3 has just proven too much, and then Clay City's just doing Clay City things. We all knew that he was a fantastic hunter, but this is incredible what the performance he is putting up. He is 4 levels ahead and top of the net worth charts.
Yeah, you're definitely seeing kind of it's kind of a state of the updates right now with Curtis just being weirdly absolutely on top of the moment.
Well, speaking of on top, Cthulhu and Hoonbats are over there on top of Dragon. Dragon does fall to Rylan, and that's all that they wanted. They just leave after that.
Yeah,
Look at
Margiella's
the
not doing anything. Yeah, nothing to do there. just gonna fly away, call that good. Unfortunately, this is just not smart positioning coming out of Dragon right now. It's fine. It's just I wouldn't be that pushed up. You can let your Wukong go in. You can let your Terra go in, get up, get some high wards because they're gonna survive. Especially when you have no vision right now on the map.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't need to take a look at the graphs to say this is a massive XP difference right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
You got 4 levels in mid. Is it 4 or 5? 4 in or well 4.5, let's call it, in ADC. 1 level in jungle, 2 levels in solo, 2 levels in support. Everything is going right for the Dukes. If you are the Apes at this point, how do you get back into this game?
Really, the best thing is just to
Not
look at the
this.
weak. Yeah, not whatever this is, right? Yeah, fear no evil, waste the beads. It's kind of a bad position. Unfortunately, right now their only play right now is to sit back and to let them use ults. Unfortunately, Terra's just not tanky enough. She's kind of out of the game at this point. It's a tough position for her. Wukong's coming in though. That's a big focus going on onto the Ola run.
Yeah, that was a massive pull there from Bacchus. They do pick up Omar off of it, and Margiela does fall to Clay City, but this is a 3-for-2 right now. Oh, Rylan comes in the descent into Madness, picks up the kill. The monster from Clay City picks up a double kill for him. He's on a rampage, and the 2 monsters creating madness on the map. I don't actually know the name of what's her name, Charybdis's ultimate, but I assume it has something to do with monster.
Yeah, the Maw of
Okay,
Hungers.
Maul of Hungers. I'm gonna call it I'm a Monster 2.0 because that was massive. Rylan and Clay City, those 2 ultimates just won them a fight.
Well, yeah, unfortunately,
Literally.
it was a huge fight. Picking up the Olaran, picking up the Hun Bats, and picking up the Sylvanas, huge. Those guys are so ahead. It's still worth a ton of XP. It's just, and honestly, even them being worth so much XP, the other 3 people that they killed, not worth as much as they did. They probably would have been worth more to do some objectives, to just do some farm. But no, it's a huge, huge team fight there. It was impressive to see this Charybdis kind of going ham, especially with their build at the moment. You got double Shuriken, you got full Devos. That's just putting out a ton of damage, especially with Descent into Madness, just throwing your spike shot right into the mix of all that. Getting a ton of damage out with the other team not even knowing.
This is what we call the Cyclone Spin Special, where you go Deathbringer, or not Deathbringer, Death Toll, I'm sorry, and Devos, and you just live. That's what we call the Cyclone Spin Special. He loves doing this on practically every god he plays, but it works especially well on Charybdis with her 3-hit passive, and especially now that she's buffed, and it does 40% instead of 30, so you do get more than the original full effect if you hit all 3. And as I'm saying that, a Fire Giant goes down for free, no contestation at all from the Apes, and the Dukes are immediately going to look at this tier 2 tower on right.
Yeah, not even a thought. I don't even know if they want to contest it, but they just didn't have any vision. They don't have any map awareness at the moment, so they're just going to take that for free because, Polar Run right now, Charybdis right now, they are burning stuff. If they had the Charybdis here instead of pushing up a wave, they probably would have taken this tower by now, to be honest. She just does so much damage as she's working into what I have to assume is a Kins. If it's a late game Aussie, that's kind of a weird one, but Kins here would be huge, especially working into this Terra, working into this Wukong. It would just be insane.
Something I'm very surprised to see is the lack of anti-heal. Actually, no, I should not say that. I just saw the Divine Ruin on this E-set. They have a lot of anti-heal on the Apes to combat the healing from from this Oleron and Sylvanas, but it does not seem to matter as they are still topped up after taking quite a bit of poke. The ultimate comes in from Wolfman Sam. That's the green light means go button for this Ape squad, but instead the King's Duke, still very healthy, are here focusing the Phoenix. This left Phoenix should go down, especially with this Oleron ultimate zoning everyone out. And Margiela falling very low, but it does not look like there are going to be any casualties at all. And all the health bars are still green for this Duke squad. They could look for this mid lane Phoenix without any issues. Though there is still going to be a resistance here. A great pull onto Margiela, and Margiela is just getting shredded. He has no health already, forced up into the cloud, and he's going to have a bad greeting when he comes down, but he is able to escape with the Bird Dragon, picking up Rylan, getting the shutdown. The Rom is forced up into the air. He's going to be met as he comes down. Instead, Omar takes the death for an Irish Panda, and that's... Omar does fall, but so it is a 1-for-1, but they're still at the Titan room. They, I don't know why they're still here. Okay, they are finally backing off. They are finally resetting. Blitzkov very low, though with that Bumba's Dagger, he will be healing as he kills these camps. Plus the Oleron and Sylvanas heals will be nice. Plus the Fire Giant. There's just a ton of sustain over here for the Dukes as they go over to look at this Oni Fury. And
Yeah.
Blitzkov might be looking for an Irish Panda right here. And they do meet, and he solos an Irish Panda, Fear No Evil, cleaning up the kill, securing it, and he's running for his life now as Wolfman Sam is starting to rotate over.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have a ton of healing. They have a ton of sustain right now. You know, you see that, you know, these guys were within a fifth of their health pool, you know, by the end of that Tier 2 Phoenix. And, you know, Blitzkov just knows, you know, you can go in, he can burst. He's got the build for it right now. He's probably even working into a Blood Forge at the moment while we're talking. You know, that's the only thing I can imagine at this point. But, you know, working his way into that is huge for him right now, especially with the, you know, Bumba's Dagger heal, or I guess at this point a Bumba's Spear heal. You know, it would just be nuts. I'm kind of wondering what we're going to see out of Cthulhu with that Tainted Steel. Oh, here comes Tainted Breastplate. I do like Tainted Amulet, but, you know, it doesn't get a ton out of it except out of Wukong and Pele, so, you know, that makes sense.
Ooh, Clay's gotta be careful here. He knows there's 3 people here, but he's gonna go in anyway. Oh! Dragon recalled. So it's just these 2, and they're gonna get caught out. There's 4 people here for the Dukes, and the Fear No Evil, a perfect placement, draws Wolfman Sam right back towards them. The Wolfman Sam is gonna fall, and it's gonna be a 5-on-4 here for this left side Phoenix, the final Phoenix, and it's getting shredded down. It will not stand for much longer.
Yeah, this is a tough one, you know, especially with that Fear No Evil. That was a beautiful placement of that, you know, just trapping Terra into the wall, trapping them, you know, towards the team. Kind of huge here. A lot of ults coming out. We're seeing the Thorns, we're seeing the Descent into Madness. You know, definitely just running, being big. Let's see.
Just like the Terra ult is the green light for the Apes, the Descent into Madness is the green light for the Dukes, and down goes the Oleron ultimate. They're focusing the Titan. Titan will fall. King's Dukes takes game 1 in this best of 3 set. Wow. What incredible game. Incredible game from both sides, but this King's Dukes draft just worked so well together. The team worked so well together. You could tell that they knew exactly what were doing at every point in the game. And what an amazing game to
Yeah,
start off this set.
this definitely felt like 4 hyper carries came together and, you know, decided, hey, we're going to play together, which is insane to see. You love it. But, you know, that is, yeah, just an insane play. You know, love to see 6-0, 6-1 out of, you know, Charybdis and Cthulhu. Ulra not doing as much work as I thought he would. I probably was just putting up more utility. Went into that Typhons, went into that Telekines. Let's see here. Yeah, a little bit of a weak showing here coming out of, you know, the ROM, coming out of the Pele. You know, not terrible. You know, their damage is still up there. You know, we're still seeing 15, 16k damage. It's just, I mean, you're probably a little bit too squishy to survive a fight against the Zola run, a little bit too squishy to, you know, fight into this Cthulhu or this Sylvanas. So it's just a tough matchup for them. They'll probably have to just focus on the bans, but we'll see what comes out of the next set here. Once we get a couple more things. Pretty good ward coverage, except out of the jungle. You know, that's kind of the trouble I'm seeing here lately with a lot of junglers. Is just no wards. And that was definitely Apes' problem here is that they just don't have enough vision and are just getting caught out one by one by one. That's just a tough look.
Yeah, they did lack vision in that game, but will they have the vision to bounce back for game two? Why don't you guys stick around? We'll be right back.
Cause you wanna lock the moons. I suppose you will never regret it. I should throw myself out from now. Cause you fucking love it when I feel it.
Baby, it's whatever. All this ever, but you long gone, it don't matter. Ride or die, that's been the deal. The light of your back, I disappear. But if you don't play that for me, I'm out of it, I'm out of it. I lick my gun and then I'm done. I'm out of it, I'm out of it. Ain't no man to tell me you're no good. I'm brushing away, the weight of you, of my shoulders. Done with my cigarette, and when all the smoke is clear, I'm brushing away the weight of you, the weight of you. Don't need no man. Don't need no man. Back and I'm better. You had to go back where you came from. Now you're bitter. Out of sight, out of mind for real. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm watching Twitch, so
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the QSL Season 4 opener between the Apes and the King's Dukes. I am your host, Raptor.exe. Well, I'm not Raptor.exe anymore. I am just Raptor. Joining me is the sumo wrestler himself, High Altitude, and of course, joining me on the cams is Red Sniper, as always. What a game one we had, right? That was an incredible game one. Altitude, what would you like to see changed for game two for either side, but more specifically the Apes, as they were the ones to fall, unfortunately?
coming into game two here, I really wanted to see an all-around ban. I want to see some kind of higher mobility made, someone that's a little bit safer, and probably a little bit more of a team fight potential. Dukes here just had a huge team fight grouping. They were very intense there, but that's just kind of all we can expect.
Yeah, and going into picks and bans, we do see the exact same bans, in fact, for the Kings Dukes. Odin, the Ardio, and the Soul. And we do see similar bans with the Tiamat and the Geb, but instead we see the Cthulhu ban. The Cthulhu was a massive problem there in game one for these apes, and they think that that was the big problem as they do elect to ban it, while they leave the Charybdis and
Now is
the
the
Oleron
time.
open, and Charybdis was top picked here for Clay City.
Wisdom
He
shall
looked
be my
fantastic
shield.
on that Charybdis.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's definitely a strong pick for them. Um, yeah, opting to ban the Cthulhu, not a bad ban. It's just, especially showing, how that Cthulhu did last game. It's just one of those things where I would probably have opted still to fight a Cthulhu. You know, the main issue is you get, Cthulhu ulted, you get, Oleron ulted at the same time. What do? You're knocked up, you're stuck in it forever. Otherwise, hey, if you go into a team that can utilize kins, you go into a team that can utilize the dominance, you know, Cthulhu's not a huge issue, but see. We also see the Sylvanas getting picked
The
back up, the
light
Olin
is
getting picked
all
back up
around
again.
you.
This is gonna be, probably we're gonna run it back here.
So far, it is a direct run back with that Charybdis Sylvanas duo lane that just got so much pressure despite Vacus falling for first blood less than a minute in. Um, but Sandman Sam looked really good on this Oleron, though his KD did not reflect it. I believe he went 2-2. He was a he was a utility mage in that
Well,
game
yeah.
with that
Keep in mind
ultimate.
he was 2-2 and 16 by
I
the
am
end of
the
the
Yeah,
game,
Shogun as
and
a
there's a
father.
reason I didn't list the assists.
he definitely had a showing here. He was not, top fragging by any means, but at the same time, he, still put in a lot of work. He was always there in the team fights. He's always utilizing that ult properly. The only time I think I saw one maybe battle came out of the right Phoenix push, where he put it a little bit too far right and they all walked out. But other than that, not a huge issue. We get
Yes,
in.
but to counter that pressure that we saw with this Charybdis and Sylvanas, we've got pressure itself is a Nami alongside that Athena. That this is a classic season 8 duo lane here. The Izanami and the Athena. The taunt into Dark Portal is just an insane amount of CC and control. But normally that Dark Portal doesn't come up until after the Athena starts rotating, but with that global ult, it's possible that we'll see that combo a lot.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a definitely a bit of a weird pickup. I don't love Izanami right now. She's in kind of a weird spot. She really utilized bow build. She loves kins. She really utilizes crit really well, but she's kind of torn between the two right now. I kind of wanted to see a different hunter out of this role, especially with an Athena, but you can definitely make it work. It's not a bad pick by any means. It's just not my first choice. And hopefully we'll
Absolutely.
see. Yeah, and we see here the same bands coming out of Dukes here. We have the Camazots, we have uh, the Morrigan, and this time Apes is opting to ban the Hunbats. Kind of an interesting
Oh.
one.
Let's liven
Yes,
things
they
up,
did
shall
ban
we?
the Hoonbats, but Dragon, he did hover the Giannis earlier, and it was as you were talking about being a more mobile mage, and I'm like, oh, this is the perfect segue. They changed it to Athena. I'm like, okay, we'll see what Dragon picks up later. Then he picks up the Baron Samdi, which is exactly the opposite of what you were asking for. Now, Baron does do a little bit better than Iset. He does have this in combat healing that's a bit more consistent than the Iset. He does have a lot of burst, which the Iset as well has, but the Iset again uses that mostly with her ult and her spirit ball, while Baron just uses his
Say
3-2-1
my name,
combo
Even
and
gods
you are
must
gone
heed
from
the
the
scales
map.
of fate.
But
Yeah.
with this Nemesis, this Oleron, and this Sylvanas, it's just going to be a repeat, I think, of what happened last game of these three just making sure Dragon is not allowed to play this game.
Yeah, this is a tough look. Baron not a bad mage by any means. It's just you have your CC immune ult, you have your beads, and that's it. You really don't have anything else. The real trouble here is going to
Gilgamesh
be I
incoming!
probably would have preferred to see that Baron come out as a last pick because now you have a Hercules, you have a Nemesis that are going to look and they're going to focus, and that's all they want. Hey, you put them out of the fight, no healing, no CC, totally fine. Gilgamesh coming up as the last pick, very interesting as a jungler. I don't really have a huge preference towards it. He does really good. He's got a great auto attack build. He does a ton of damage as a you know ability based build, and then you can always go warrior jungle. You can go hybrid. I think he excels at a lot of stuff, but I also think he falls short in all of them. He's not the best in every role. He's not the best in every build, but he's pretty good in most.
Absolutely, and this is something that didn't really see a whole lot of, and I'm curious to see what your opinion is on it. The Nemesis versus Gilgamesh combo. It seems like when one falls out of favor, the other falls in, and vice versa. So I'm kind of curious, how do they match up against each other?
Really, they both kind of fit a similar role. They both have this flexibility of like, hey, do I want to be ability based? Do I want to be attack based? Or can I be like a hybrid build? You can do all of that on both of them, and it works really well. I think, depending on how well this team meshes in game two, you could definitely have Omar being a little bit distracted, trying to play a little bit of peel like he was last game. And, that's where Nem loves to be. They love to be in that, CC chain. They love to just, kind of hammer you, when you're not looking. And so that could be, a big part of it is, Omar could lose a 1v1 if he's not looking. So, kind of how that is.
That is very true as we do get into game. Something that I just want to see. I just want to see one time because I'm curious to see how it work. Margiela ult inside of Gilgamesh's Winds of Shumash as the life of the party's pulling them in. That is literally just you are not allowed to move at all, and we don't care.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to see. I actually don't know. That's an interesting interaction that I've never probably come across yet. Is Nike in Gilgamesh ult because like we know, attack speed slows and movement speed slows are not stacking anymore. So it might not work, but who knows? Still be kind of cool to see. Let's see here. Pretty
But
normal build coming out of most here. The Olerin this time is opting for a ring, which is interesting.
oh, the Zavakis takes the purple. I wasn't paying attention. I'm gonna be honest. I was looking down the bills. I have no idea if that was intentional or not. Knowing Vakis and the troll he is, that was probably totally intentional. But a great pull again into Irish Panda. This Sylvanas, Vakis has been looking so comfortable on the Sylvanas, constantly getting pulls, and yet another sub 1 minute first blood. Rylan over here in the solo lane, soloing out this Margiela on this Nike, and another pull. Luckily, an Irish Panda this time did have his dash, but Omar is falling here in mid, and Sam picks up Dragon 3-0. Less than a minute 30 into this game, Clay City getting a little caught out, uses the beads, and an Irish Panda has to be careful here. His beads are down, but a missed pull thanks to the preemptive dash from an Irish Panda. We thought game one was insane. Game two is already shaping up to be even more chaotic.
Yeah, this is definitely mentals are broken at this point. It's kind of a tough look. First blooding in solo, always a hard comeback, especially into Nike with a Warrior's Axe. I'm not sure the real thought process behind that build. It's not my favorite, especially with the warding sigil meta right now. You can see Riley has no issue, using that build. The mid and the Nemesis going, just super hard, getting that Baron, getting that Gilgamesh, super worth it. Very great pickup off the start.
Dragon here again getting caught out. The snake will not be enough to save his life. Unfortunately, him is just a root, not a disarm, and the Oleron autos will finish off that kill. 0-2 here for the Baron, and this is what we were scared of happening to the Baron, and what we were in the scenario we were pumping out isn't even possible yet.
Yeah, this is, and that last kill was a bit of poor positioning, unfortunately. you know he's gonna outclear you. You know, you're Baron. You don't have a ton. Oh, what an insane pull! That's nuts.
Vacus has been hitting these poles all night. Sandman Sam turns around, picks up the kill on Omar, who was pursuing him at the time. Vacus, you are a god, my friend. I don't care anymore that you fell for First Blood at sub 1 minute in game 1. He has been hitting these pulls consistently on every single time. It seems like every single time he throws one out, someone's getting pulled in. Not always the right target, but someone gets pulled in.
Yeah, now I know anytime I play him, I just gotta get a Magi's Cloak and just hope. So, but yeah. Just,
Well, over here, Clay City taking quite a bit of poke from an Irish Panda. Those autos going through the wave. Also poking out Vacus, but Clay City moving in, trying to save his support. The support will fall to an Irish Panda, but going down into the not the wormhole. What is it? The whirlpool. I'm sorry. The whirlpool. The maw, whatever it's called. It's a whirlpool. I don't care what you call it. It's a whirlpool. But I didn't even realize Dragon was over here. But he does take the ult from Blitzkov. Blitzkov using the Retribution Shield will be able to heal up just enough to escape, and then using the maw, Clay City escapes as well. But they both gotta be very careful here. Though Vacus has returned from his untimely demise, the healing will be enough, and he does have that Lotus Crown online, which will give him extra protections as well if they do decide to go back in, but only for a short duration, and it looks like it has weared off already.
yeah.
Wow, this was a...
figure-
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
This is an interesting rotation. I'm not sure because if you've been keeping an eye on the map, you can see that I want to say two whole waves have made their way in. Sandman is doing BAP camps. Sandman is helping confirm blues.
Rye was just standing there staring.
What does Margiela do? What do you do there? You know.
the freaking blue camp was just at 400 health, and Rye's just standing there having a stare down with Margiela, not smacking it at all. And then finally Sandman Sam comes in, asks what's going on, and then finishes off the job with Rylan. But I was actually gonna bring that up. Interesting that you bring that up, as I'm just about to ask you. Why was Dragon over there in the left lane? He's fallen twice already over here over there in the mid lane. Yes, but now he is 3 levels down. Well, more like 2.5, but let's call it 3 for the sake of simplicity.
Yeah, we just hit 3, so we'll call it a fair. I mean, the mental here, whenever you're like, hey, you know, should I rotate? This is just a thing for all mid laners. Is, you know, if you see your opponent leave lane, you should rotate along with them, try to follow up, try to close up some distance on there, or just power farm. There's kind of 2 options. Let's see, a lot of ults coming out. Let's see, Life of the Party comes out, Mikey ult comes out.
Oh
Yeah.
no, did they not get this? Oh no, the Winds of Shumash will ensure it, but that's another rotation from Dragon, and just more farm that Sandman Sam is getting. I'm not trying to sound like a Debbie Downer. It is very important that Dragon does get the assist there on Rye, but
Honestly, I would have wanted to see him pick up the kill at this point.
Yeah, at this point, the wave that he's missing in mid there is a lot more XP and gold than he'll get from assisting Rye. Even if they got 2 kills and he assists them both, I think that he would be losing there.
Yeah, 100%. You know, maybe, you know, if you're so far ahead, you know, you can lose a wave and it's not a huge issue, that's fine. But when you are, at this point, 3 levels down, you know, you can't afford to be missing those waves. That's just a tough point. And a lot of things, a lot of mid
Vacus,
laners...
stop! Vacus, you're already a higher level than their solo laner. You don't need to do him like that. But here in the jungle, a great ultimate, Divine Judgment, plus the Wrath of Terra will take down Omar. And he doesn't have any protections. But it looks, he might as well... I don't know what I'm trying to say. He didn't have protections, but even if he did, he wouldn't have. That was a lot of shred, and he just gets deleted from the map. I do want to bring up, we see a Jotun's Wrath here from this Nemesis. Normally with Nemesises, Nemesi, whatever the plural is, you see a lot of Crushers first slot, since she uses that attack speed extremely well. Why do we see a Jotun's Wrath instead?
right now the meta for jungles is to go into that Jotuns first, having more abilities, having more rotations, having more stuff up, especially when you're fighting as much as they are, is huge. You know, a Crusher's nice, a Crusher's big, especially for like ADCs, you know, when you're using it, but, you know, it's just one of those things that, you know, you get more value out of a Jotuns at this point, so.
Well, a great teamwork there from Sam and Sam and Vacus. They do take down Wolfman Sam and force Dragon's ultimate out. But the winds of Shumash come in, but a great knockup will get Sam and Sam out of that. The root doesn't have any follow-up, and now the Divine Judgment onto Dragon will force him out, leaving Omar to Blitzkov's Wrath. Speaking of which, the Wrath of Terra comes out, but that's the two-man knockup will not be enough to save him, but it might be enough for them to pick up the kill. They do kill the mid-tier 1 tower, and this is a 4-level lead here for Sandman. They can keep going. He does not care one bit. He has the lifesteal ring. The name's escaping me right now.
Yeah,
and
Hecate.
Hecate, and he has tier 2 Foul. He does not care right now. He's about to solo Wolfman Sam in a 1v2, but the Dark Portal from an Irish Panda's rotation will be enough to finish him up. Meanwhile, over here, Sentinel and Zeus will slow down Rai, but he pops Heavenly Wing and is like, I don't care. He picks up the enemy's blue buff and runs away. That's a wake-up call for me. Rai has Heavenly Wings.
Yeah, I mean, especially with how they were playing last game, I would not be surprised. You know, right now you see it out of a few supports. It's not huge. Support meta, you either see, you know, a Meditation, you see a Brace of Radiance, or you see a Shell. I've been seeing a lot of them actually pick up a Heavenly Wings, upgraded, and that way you have that haste effect for your mages, you have that haste effect for your, you know, ADCs, and these are just opting to auto down a tower. Kind of a weird choice. Not my favorite thing solo laners do is, you know, try to get that early lane, because now Nike's caught out. She's got to go all the way up to get farm. You know, she's got a ward all the time. They don't have the pressure for this, to be honest.
Yeah, but part of that could also be that the Dragon is just looking for any sort of farm. As I looked at the levels, Omar and Dragon are both 2 levels down. I'm sorry, they were 3 just a moment ago. Now they are 2. As this Gold Fury is getting started up by Sam and Vacus, and they just don't care. Wolfman Sam here getting a little caught out by Blitzkov, but Blitzkov Slice and Dice does not hit the mark, and Wolfman Sam is just able to escape freely. But it doesn't matter that's 5-on-3. I think I still favor the King's Dukes in some sense. Well, not if Sam falls instantly like he is now, and Sandman Sam, a great beads will get him out. Margiela and Omar fall, and Sam just evading Wolfman Sam. Wolfman Sam can't do anything. Meanwhile, in the back, Blitzkov picks up an Irish Panda, and now they're going to pick up Wolfman Sam. How'd this happen? That was 3 people engaging on Sandman Sam. Instead, Sandman Sam escapes, and the rest of the apes are dead.
Yeah, no, this is what I was talking about. This is that Stone of Foul play, and this is, you know, and yeah, Dragon's coming back for no good reason. Should have just left. One of those things. Come and agree to kill. This is just what I was saying about, you know, the Nem fighting into a Gilgamesh. You can see that Gilgamesh, you know, going right through the Olorun ult, looking for him, trying to get that kill, and, you know, Nem, you know, hits that slash right in the back. Doesn't even matter. You know, everyone's too focused on Olorun at this point that they're just getting run through by everyone else. You know, there's just too much. Even Margiela coming over from solo lane just to ult him and then get half health and have to run away. You know, there's not much that. Yep. Okay. Let's see.
Well, Blitzkov is level 13 here. He is the highest level in the game by quite a bit. Second him is his mid laner here, but Blitzkov does not fear anything but God itself, but he's about to meet a god. Gilgamesh comes in, Omar does pick him up with the Winds of Shumash. That is a massive shutdown, but a massive 4-man Wrath of Terra trying to save Vacus' own life. A 3-man root as well, but it will not matter. The snake will root him in place, and Omar is now on a killing spree. They were just pushed up a little bit there, a little bit too much there. Blitzkov getting a little bit too confident as he was 4 levels up on Omar, now only 1. Actually,
Yeah,
no, And
Yeah,
no,
that's
he's still only at 1.
yeah, it's one up. That was definitely a base reset, and then let's go do an objective kind of call. They're doing the Pyromancer. We'll see. I don't believe Excavate is up. Nope, he's got Excavate ready. If he goes over and looks at it, he could definitely ult to confirm.
Meanwhile, over here in dual lane, we do see a little bit of a slap fight. Both ultimates coming out, trying to pick up the kill, but it does not matter. Okay, well, never mind. Clay City moving in and picking up an Irish Panda, keeping that 1 level lead, and probably going to take down that tier 2 and left. Meanwhile, nothing happens over in the Fire Giant pit besides the Apes securing their own Pyromancer that they started up. And that's it. Both teams just go back to farming. So a 1 for Pyromancer and possibly a tier 1 tower, as it is being shredded and will be a tier 1 tower. Who does that favor?
Oh,
King's Dukes, obviously. That was a very dumb question.
Yeah,
that was a very dumb question.
Yeah, at this point, anything that they do, the Apes here have to basically have one person just solo minor objectives while everyone else just maintains their own. Sandman Sam's coming out here. He's popping the ult. Oh, Wrath of Terra, get that extended duration. Not even an issue. Blitzkop's coming back in. He's going to ult Gilgamesh. All right.
Oh, the defender of Olympus, though, saving Omar's life with that damage mitigation. But once again, Sandman Sam has 4 people coming down on him, 4 people ulting him even. Well, actually, no, 2. It is the Winds of Shumash and Dragon's Life of the Party. But still, he walks out fine. This Ola run is extremely hard to kill right now. And something I am noticing is that Omar is constantly jumping in trying to kill Sandman Sam. And then he's just instantly getting ulted by Blitzkov here with this Divine Judgment, shredding the few protections he has already. I think that he's being a little too aggressive personally with his leap, as he is constantly jumping into 2 or 3 people and then immediately a Divine Judgment.
Well, yeah, here's the real trouble here with and honestly, now that I see it, I kind of wish Blitzkov could have gone on a Wheelix this game.
Oh,
great. But what a nice.
That was a very nice 2 there from Clay City. And as I say that, Blitzkov getting jumped on by Omar. Omar using the jump perfectly aggressive right there that time. Oh, a nice stun though from the I keep wanting to call her Klina, from the Charybdis, does stun Omar and does save Clay City's life. And Sandman Sam, walking through the Winds of Shumash, does not care, picks up Omar. Wolfman Sam will fall to Clay City, and despite shutting down Blitzkov, actually I don't know if it was shut down, I believe he was 7-0, so he was just a normal kill.
Yeah,
that was just a normal kill on to Blitzkov, but still shutting him down, let's say, since he is ahead. But they still are not able to shut down both the Sandman Sam and Clay City, this Olarun and Charybdis, who are both 3 levels up, well now 4 levels up on their lane opponents.
Yeah, I mean, Nem's kind of had her moment, and this is just kind of typical for this character. Early game dominated, got that 7-0 lead, crazy pressure in there, and now it's time to let Charybdis and Olarun take points. So if Nem continue to power farm and continue to just let everyone have their own, Nem could definitely easily be level 18, level 19 right now. That's not impossible, but it's okay right now because we're still keeping even with the pace of the game. But as far as this Gilgamesh goes, you can see that Gilgamesh is basically trading 1 for 1 and then dying.
No. Wolfman Sand dashing in there trying to keep them from taking the Gold Fury, but instead he trades his life. He does get out the Olarun ult though, and that is a massive ultimate to be down, as well as Clay City missing his ultimate, but it does not matter. Rylan in the back line, blinking in, picking up Irish Panda, or he doesn't have blink, I'm sorry, he just dashed in and picking up an Irish Panda, and they don't care about this Phoenix. They just want to shut down Omar right now, and Omar, a great drop kick, stunning 2, but Clay City will pick him up. They are 5 strong. They are taking this left side Phoenix, and most likely that's going to be a free reset in Fire Giant.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Omar definitely is the only one that they have to be concerned about on their team. You know, it, we are 21-8 right now, and Omar is 6 of those 8 at the moment. So Omar's a big shutdown for them. They want to keep him as far behind as they can to try and maintain their lead. You can even see here that Omar is starting to think of building into hybrid items, opting to go into a Witchblade to try and counter, this triple ADC here with Nem, Olorun, and Charybdis. But probably still not even enough to be honest. But we'll see how that
That
goes.
is that is interesting. We did start to see him go into um, one of the males, most likely a Midgardian male. But it looks like he did sell it in favor of the Witchblade, and now going into a Katana. Is I believe that's probably going to be a Serrated Edge.
Yeah, it's possible. If he started a male, which I did not see earlier,
He
he
did in
probably
the slot of the Katana. He did have a tier 1 male.
okay. Then he probably passive picked up a male. He probably opted that he wanted
Oh,
to
I
do
didn't hear
damage.
that. True.
Yeah, since he's so far behind, and opting for a serrated edge is definitely going to help him, especially with this Mola run and with this Hercules. It's kind of weird to think, oh, I have to build a lot of percentage penetration for an Ola run, but here we are. And
Well,
he
the
probably
foul gives mitigation, right? Does penetration affect that?
it doesn't. It's one of those stats that really doesn't matter. It does also give you, you know, just base, fizz, defense, health, and CCR. Gives you a ton of each of those. So having those percentage penetrations is
Oh
incredibly
no.
disappointing. So what a huge pull! What a huge Jurassic era. Wolfman Sam's not in this game. We are playing gray screen simulator at this point.
He really is, and this Olorun ult is consistently being saved for him, and his Gilgamesh ult is consistently being saved for Clay City and Blitzkov, but both of them survive it. Omar's the one that falls. A leap in from Margiela tries to pick up Clay City, but it will not work. Clay City does escape, and they are walking into the Titan room. Margiela is still looking worse for wear. The Titan is under attack. A little bit of miscommunication. It looked like the rest of the team was backing up, but they're going in. They are looking to end this game. A great 4-man taunt does not matter as an Irish Panda falls. Rylan is looking worse for wear, as well as Sam and Sam, but will not matter. The Titan will fall. The Dukes take this 2-0 on top of the Apes. Congrats to them.
Whew. What a game! Yeah, this was definitely a case of a bit of a broken mentals, but it's definitely it's a first game showing. It happens. Everyone's still kind of learning with their team, so hopefully next week they have a bit of a better showing.
Yeah, that's correct. You gotta remember this is week one. Week one is often pretty rough for these teams. Well, for most teams, as they are still learning to play with teammates that they haven't played with before, outside of maybe a prospect or two. And so it is really important for these teams to not get totally heartbroken over game one, or over week one, I should say. But that being said, this was a very, very convincing win from the Kings Dukes, and they are continuing on the legacy of their namesake, the Kings Dukes, as well as MM Vacus, won Season 3 Majors Championship, and now are on they are looking like they want to repeat that as they win Week 1 very convincingly.
Yeah, this game was definitely a showing for Clay City and Sandman as well. You know, going 6-0 and then 10-0 as Charybdis, and then yeah, Sandman Sam opted for a bit of more damage build, a bit more of an ADC build instead of utility. Playing out against the ESET, he went 8-1 and 13 this game. It's insane. Both topping out at 19k damage, and it was just a perfect showing. Blitzkov also had great synergy there with Rylan and with Sandman. Being able to kind of punish, Margiela, Omar, and Dragon anytime they went after what they perceived was the big threat. And that's just the important part as a jungler is just always looking for those, you know, easy punishes. I would say, huge showing. I would prepare Dukes to always have Run and Charybdis banned. Have fun with that in the next couple of weeks. As far as Apes, I would just say target priority is a must. You got to be looking out for what you can kill and farm. You guys lost. It was mainly just a war of attrition at this point, but that would just be the big thing to keep in mind going forward.
Absolutely. And we we are going to get you a post game interview with. It sounds like Sandman Sam will be coming in here and joining us. So stick around. We will be right back once we get that set up. Welcome back to the QSL Season 4. We just watched an amazing set 2-0 the Kings Dukes over the Apes. I am still Raptor. Joining me is the always great sumo man. It's Mr. High Altitude. And joining us is a very special guest, Mr. Sandman Sam, the mid laner for the Dukes. Sandman Sam, how you feeling, man?
Pretty good. I won. I like winning.
We all like winning. So just out of curiosity, it is week one. And you've had less than a week since the draft. Actually, no, it is a week today
Oh.
since the draft. How's the team synergy coming along in such a short time? It seems like you guys were working really well together.
Yeah. Well, we had the benefit of having 3 players from the last season. But yeah, we haven't scrimmed or anything. We just kind of showed up at the time, and everybody seemed to, be on the same page. Me and Blitzkov occasionally said the exact same words. It was pretty good.
Well, it sounds good. Whenever you can just show up and win, that's a good feeling. I'm scared
Yeah.
to imagine you guys if you actually practiced. But hey, apparently you guys don't need that. But uh, going back to those games, game one was it wasn't exactly close all. You guys were kind of in control throughout the entire game, but you guys did go down pretty early on in the kills column.
Mm.
What what was sort of the mental as you guys were thinking were you guys thinking like do we have to come back from this, or were you guys confident throughout the entire way?
We're all pretty used to somebody just dying in the beginning of the game, so it really didn't affect us too much. We basically just told Vakis to chill a little bit. You know, he likes to go down the lane too much, one might say.
Mhm.
So we just had him reel it back. It didn't work, but once we started coming around him, we could fight, and it worked out for us. I'd like to
Yeah,
say.
Vakis, man, if he earned $1 for every pull he had, he'd be a rich man today. He was hitting pulls left and right, and you on this Ola run had some fantastic ults. Clay City just slayed on this Charybdis, Blitzkov, and Rai both played incredibly well on both picks. What I'm just kind of curious, what was team comp idea with this Nemesis and Hercules um after the Hoonbats and Cthulhu got banned out? Why did you pick those two gods specifically going into that draft?
Um, if I'm honest, we just wanted to play them. Rye, I believe, hasn't played in a couple weeks. So when he came in, we told him what role he was going to play because he's just a sub. So he didn't really know. But when he comes in, you just play whatever you're comfortable with. So you tell him pick whatever you want, and picked whatever you want. And then the Hercules is good. It's sick.
Mhm.
My man
It,
hits
it
plucking. He's plucking like, jeez.
it was incredibly good. Final question for me: What? So I'm expecting this Olarun and Charybdis, possibly even the Sylvanas, to be banned out every single week now. What do you want to sort of go into? How does how the Oleron and Charybdis feel? Because since you did top pick both of them in their respective games, what about the Oleron and Charybdis combo of a back line just worked so well and it just feels
Um,
so well with you guys?
Charybdis is just super safe for Clay, so he can kind of just farm on his own. Does a fair amount of damage, just good sustain with the Death Toll procs and whatnot. Olaron, if I'm honest, I just wanted to build Stone of Foul and run at people. And I was actually gonna pick Wukong, but they took it away.
Mm.
So there was gonna be a Wukong mid, but those dirty, dirty people, they took it. Third. I was so sad.
All right. Well, fair enough. Altitude, got anything to add?
Uh, no, I mean, just besides, I guess the question of build path here, but it sounds like you had a bit of a, just pick whatever works and run with it, with
Yeah, I mean, the difference between the first item was honestly just I wanted to test out in mid specifically whether or not you were more vulnerable if you went for Akate versus Pythags. So
Mm.
if I'm honest, there wasn't really much of a difference except Pythags gave me a bit more cooldown,
Right.
but I didn't really need it, and it both felt pretty solid. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, that's it for me. Great game, great showing. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks.
Congrats, Sam, on the win. Give my congratulations to your team as well. You all looked fantastic, and I'm super excited to
Yeah.
see how you perform throughout the rest of the season. But for us, that's going to be it for us tonight. I do believe that the other game is still going on over on the QSL main channel between the Reapers and the V-Bakas. I do believe that they are going into a game 3 right
Hmm.
now. So go pop over there if you want to see more QSL. But for me, High Altitude and Red Sniper, that is going to be us. That's going to be all for us tonight. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you all next time.